Welcome back to the We Call BS podcast with me, Andrew Deutsch, and my friend Lydia Sugarman. And today you're probably wondering, what do we mean by calling BS on sales? What do we mean, Lydia?
Oh, well, I mean, whoever decided that sales is a dirty word?
I don't know. I don't want to be sold. Don't make it salesy. What the hell
I
does
don't
that mean?
I don't want to come across as salesy.
Let's define. Sales is interacting with someone to recognize if they have a pain point, a problem, a challenge, or a need, asking all of the right questions to identify and understand to see if you have the solution for a price they're willing to pay and provide that service or product. That's it. Who doesn't like to have the problem solved? I don't understand it. So the statement, don't make it salesy, don't what they're really saying is don't be a jerk, don't lie, don't cheat, don't twist arms, don't be deceitful. All of the things that don't be too nosy, don't be rude. I mean that's what they're saying. And these idiots, and I'll say idiots, who do that high pressure nonsense with folks that makes them uncomfortable, are not really salespeople. They're
Yeah.
something else that I haven't quite figured out the definition of yet.
Even yeah, I mean, but and and the first thing that you think of first and second thing usually is used car salesman or car salesman
Mm-hmm.
and insurance sales,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, car
Um,
insurance, and of course our number one enemy, the MLM jackasses that are being, scamming us every day. Um,
well,
any of
that
those.
that that brings me to I said that's the first thing that you think
Yeah,
of usually are used cars, are car salesmen and insurance salesmen,
yeah,
salespeople. Excuse me.
yeah.
Let me be politically correct.
Sales,
Uh,
sales folk.
salesfolk, but the other are people who are going into business for themselves, and it's a soft, it's a usually it can be a service. Usually, it's a soft product, and it's like, well, I don't want to come across as salesy. It's like, well, do you want customers?
Yeah.
You want people to actually give you money for what you are offering in the
Yeah.
marketplace? That's called sales.
Yeah. Well, salesy, as they say it, what they're really saying is, I don't want to come off as a
That's
pitch.
an asshole.
I don't want to be a pitcher. I don't want to pitch. I don't want to twist your arm. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to waste your time. It's almost an apology for what should be an act that is a good thing to do for someone to help them or provide them with something that they need or desire.
But
Hmm.
they've decided that any kind of sales is distasteful.
Yeah. I think what happened is people started watching, and of course, these are great movies. So I'm not Glenn Glenn Ross,
Oh,
Tin Men, one of the funniest movies ever with Danny DeVito in it. All of those where the salespeople are these conniving tricksters, scammers who are out there, and that's become the image. Just like if you watch movies about detectives, they're almost nothing like real police, and folks have fallen into these fictitious things, thinking that
right.
that's what it is, or they went to Billy's buy here pay here car dealership where they paid money and got the car to realize it didn't come with the engine.
I will say I have lived through some sales jobs, very close to Glenn Ross.
Hmm.
It was not fun.
Yeah, boiler rooms.
Um, but yeah, once I was fired after 2 weeks because they didn't like the way I dressed. Um,
Well, I
and
told you you should dress better when you show up at my office, Lydia. Oh wait, that wasn't me who fired you. I forget.
and the other was just not getting not having leads
Mhm.
distributed equally.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't
Um,
deserve the good leads.
yeah, I don't deserve the good leads.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually, even with the leads that all the men
Hmm.
wanted wanted to get rid of, they didn't realize when they gave them all over to me how much they were making every month on
Yeah.
those no effort leads. And
Yeah.
I just, would open the mail every day and cha-ching. And yeah, there are those situations.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're just talking about, sales getting a bad rap. Why? And, you know, I want to be in business for myself, but I don't want to sell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing when I hear it all the time. And it's funny too, because really the only time that I've ever had issues in sales was companies making things that really were not thought out and saleable. They didn't have the message or fill the need that they claimed to fill. Or
Right.
one of those products that I always talk about where I've got a solution looking for a problem, and we don't know where that problem is for the solution to solve. Or it's almost never a price issue. It's usually a product marketing issue to where um, you're involved in something that the market isn't there. There's an incumbent in the space that everybody absolutely
No,
loves.
we're going to
So
talk, we're going to call BS on marketing next week. We're talking
we
about sales today.
absolutely we have to. But the point being that the only way then to make that sale in these environments where you don't is to distort the 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 functionality of the product or service, to somehow
Right.
make statements to distort the marketplace, to imply things that aren't real, and then you become that high pressure, that arm twisting, devious, that then is what people mistake for real sales. That's why I
I,
kind of went down that rabbit hole there for a second.
and that's crazy because every day you are almost every day, I'll say, you're buying something.
Yep. Yep.
You're buying something that fixes that satisfies a need, scratches an itch,
Hmm.
whatever it is.
Yep.
And you don't feel pressured. It's because you found that you wanted it, that you
Hmm.
needed it.
Yeah.
It makes your life easier.
Yeah. But when you're basing
That's
your
all that we're
decision,
doing.
when you're basing your decision as the buyer on lies that are coming from someone that you thought you could trust, and you don't have the ability to do the actual research, or it isn't the information isn't available. I've even seen it in the industrial space where somebody buys a piece of equipment for a specific task being done within the manufacturing process, and that piece of equipment arrives and it can't do what they said it could do. And they're, well, you should have known better. No, well, maybe, but this happened to me back in the steel drum days. They bought this machine from a highly regarded manufacturer here in the U.S. That was going to do a welded seam on a piece of stainless steel. That machine, they couldn't get it to work. We couldn't get it to work. Weeks of screwing around with it, and it turns out that they didn't actually manufacture it. They bought it from somebody else, put their name on it, and it ended up being a whole deal. And at the end, I asked
Yeah.
the sales guy who sold it, and he said, "Well, we thought it would work." In the meantime, delayed launch of a product by a month and a half because we had to go to another company that actually had the technology and bring their piece of equipment in. And you know what? They turned it on and it worked the first time. So if from a sales perspective, the salesperson knew that there was a really good chance that it might not work. and and that's what gives sales a
Well,
bad name.
you don't know what kind of pressure that person was put under
Hmm.
by
Yeah,
their higher ups
absolutely.
to sell that machine. I read something this morning that actually was, I mean, we've known, we've, some of us have known about the potential for this. I mean, we talk about surge pricing,
Yep.
with Uber and Lyft, but today I saw a headline about um, online marketplaces using AI
Hmm.
to uh, really finally to, personalized pricing.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
Yeah. There
And
was this.
makes me, and that's talk about deceptive selling.
I'm going to make a disclaimer before I make the next statement because I don't know if this is true or not. But I've heard many times that sites like Expedia, Priceline, those ones that bring uh, airline tickets and things like that to you, as well as the airlines themselves. If
Right.
you go on and you search for a ticket and you don't buy it in that moment, it knows who you are and you were there. And when you go to search it the next time, the price goes up because now
Well,
they
that's
think
true.
you absolutely need it. I've heard people deny, and I know there was a story of someone being sued by one of the airlines for saying it publicly as a fact. So I don't want to be that guy.
I've experienced it more than once, enough times to be able to say that's absolutely true.
Yeah, what the airlines claim, and the reason that I'm cautious is they claim that, well, when you went back in, they probably had already sold a couple more tickets, so the one that you had that was the cheaper one is gone. And they have this. I don't know where the truth is, but that again is where sales gets a
I
bad
know.
reputation when you feel like you're being
I'll call
manipulated.
BS. I'll call BS on that.
I do too, but
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know what
just
it is.
that's deceptive selling, and that all contributes to people's distrust of sales and dislike of being identified as a salesperson. I like to identify. I've always been in sales. I like to identify myself as a sales professional
Hmm.
and all that implies. It used to be the only thing you have is your reputation
Hmm.
as a salesperson. Really, that's the only thing
Yeah.
you have. Once you
Oh, I'm sorry. Her video froze, so I'll just talk to fill in the space until her video unfreezes. Uh, one of the other examples of what we're talking about is it goes back to the concept of, is a salesperson, sorry, you were frozen. I was talking.
I
Um,
figured I would dance until
yeah. So what I started on a slightly different tangent where many times a salesperson also recognizes that they are a representative of the brand that they sell. And if, for example, somebody would come to me with a need that I absolutely could not fulfill, there's a school of sales thought, which is in this salesy part that people hate, to where if the guy wants to give you the money for the product and figure it out on his own, let it happen. And I'm of the belief that if what I have doesn't do it and I know who does, if I help that person and facilitate that person to get exactly the problem solving that they're looking for, what's
uh,
going to end up happening is they're going
did
to
you know
get their problem
pros?
solved and they're going to tell people, hey, these are the honest guys because they knew that they didn't have what I needed and they guided me. But I'll tell you what, I would do business with them every day. And that's a long play positive that
Yeah,
builds the brand.
you froze right when you were explaining that
Yep.
if I don't have this right solution for you
Yep.
as as a person as a salesperson of integrity, I'm going to refer you to another company that
Yep.
does have the right solution for you.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. It's
Yep.
like, hey, it we're not the right solution for you.
Yep.
It's Inventive is way more than you need right now. Go. You might as well stick with Mailchimp
Yep.
because that's all you need right now.
Yep. I had a situation, and I've told this story many times in the past. I worked for a company that had a name that another company also had. So I would get calls sometimes because I was involved in the international division, and we were in the plastics industry, and they were in the sewer treatment industry. And I would get a call, same name of the company. I'd get a call, and they'd say, "Yeah, we need part so and so for the sewer system in the municipality, whatever." Hold on a second. You've called the wrong by the name of the company. But I have their phone number handy. Hold on a second. I would pull it out of my desk drawer and I say, the phone number is this. And I believe you hit 3 for sales, because I had checked it out, because I would get a call like that every couple of weeks. Person was like, why do you have that? And I said, well, if it was me, I'd want someone to point me in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, well, what do you guys do? And I told him. He goes, oh, we use that. Well, who do you get it from? And he told me the distributor that he was getting it from, whatever. We had a nice conversation. Anyhow, he hung up the phone. About 3 more calls like that had happened over time. I get a phone call from that other company saying, are you the guy who keeps sending people to us? I wanted to say thank you. His brother owned a distribution company in the packaging industry who was buying from a competitor of ours. And he told him about us. My sales guy went, because I was the international guy, and we picked up
Yeah.
a whole new account. Didn't benefit me, benefited the company, which benefits me because we had profit sharing. But by doing that good deed, we created an image of our brand that we're a helpful company who cares about our customers, and we ended up getting a new distributor.
Exactly. That's and branding, I think, would you say branding is marketing or sales or both?
Branding is part of it's a marketing function that the
Marketing
sales team supports. Everyone in the building, the guy from the CEO down to maintenance, down to if you've got a guard at the gate,
is
everyone
responsible.
is the image of the brand. Every
Exactly.
every touch your company makes is an opportunity to build a brand advocate for your company, a voracious advocate for your brand. So, but
So
the people who manage and the folks who are in charge of developing, maintaining, and all of that is really the marketing team.
we can talk about branding one of these days too, because I
Yeah.
think branding has the what branding is has been co-opted over the years
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to the point where it's just ridiculous. And again, happened to catch. I can't. I think it was Ryan Musselman on LinkedIn. Was no, no, no. It wasn't. It was somebody else. Anyway, talking about what branding is, and he's like, "It's not your selfies. It's not your sob stories.
Yeah.
It is the way your company is perceived by the public, and what it delivers."
I'll get made fun of because I can't remember who said it, but your brand is what they're saying about you when you're not in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Some big mouth, big guy said that before me. It wasn't, I didn't invent it. I'm sure
Yeah.
it was somebody famous.
But
Uh,
we're getting off topic again,
yeah.
and I
That's
had
because we're
somebody
wrapping up.
I asked his opinion about our previous episode about politics and religion in the workplace, and he's like, "Well, you rambled a lot. You were talking about the employer perspective, the employee perspective," and I'm like, "Well, you kind of have to talk about both. You can't
That
just
was the
talk
topic.
about one."
There's
You
two
know,
truths in that. We needed to talk about it, and we always ramble. So
well,
it's part of the fun.
that's part of our mission statement, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we ramble
Yeah.
because we
I'm
can,
okay with it.
but we do it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and the best part is we now have 2 more topics to talk about. We can call BS on marketing. We can call BS on
Branding.
branding. There we go. So people have something to look forward to when after they subscribe, click, like, fax, uh, I don't know, tell their school bus driver about this wonderful podcast.
School's
And
out for the summer.
well, in the spring though, or in the fall they'll tell their teachers to listen to the We Call BS podcast. I guess we probably ought to sign off. What do you think?
Wind it up.
All
Close
righty.
it up. Another Friday.
Bye now.